member of the pod, 9-year-old Zeke. I'd like to take this moment and thank each and every one of you for coming out today, allowing us a chance to share our family with all of you. It is our hope that after you leave the Gulfarium today, you'll go home to your own communities and share with them some of the amazing skills and adaptations of these mammals, as well as some of the dangers that face all three mammals out in the ocean today. And yes, I did just call these dolphins mammals, however, it's not uncommon for people to mistake them as fish, since they do spend their entire lives in the water. But since they are mammals just like you and I, let's go over some of the characteristics that we share. Starting with the fact that as mammals, we are all born through live birth. A mother dolphin will give birth to a single dolphin calf after about a 54-week gestation period, which is a year-long pregnancy. That dolphin calf will come out weighing between 20 and 3 pounds and even be up to 3 feet in length. And since they are born through live birth like you and I, check out if you can see, dolphins also have belly buttons. This next characteristic goes hand in hand with live birth, and that's how we will nurse our young. Dolphin calves nurse their mothers for the first 1 to 3 years of their life. They are able to do this underwater by curling their tongue into a straw. This creates a watertight seal to latch onto their mother's mammaries, so they only drink that rich, nutritious milk and none of the surrounding saltwater that they live in. This next characteristic may seem a little bit odd for dolphins to have, but as mammals, we are all born with hair. But I'm sure some of you are looking down here thinking, wait a minute, I don't see a single hairy dolphin. And you're absolutely correct. However, dolphins are born with hair in the form of whiskers along that rostrum. We believe these whiskers are there to help the calves locate their mother's mammaries when they're learning how to nurse, but within the first few days of life, those hairs will simply just fall right out. Moving along, the next characteristic that we share is that we all breathe air using lungs. So I'm sure by now you've noticed that dolphins do not have gills like sharks and fish, but instead we breathe air, utilizing that small opening on the top of their head known as their blowhole. It is situated there so they can come to the surface for a quick breath of air before diving down and holding that breath for up to 7.5 minutes. This exchange of air is so quick it only takes a fraction of a second, so I'm actually going to turn it over to our boys to show you just how quick that breath can be. It is also a little-known fact that dolphins do not have vocal cords. All those clicks, whistles, and squeals you hear them making come from that very same blowhole. They're able to make these sounds by manipulating air sacs just underneath that opening. To show this off, our boys have prepared a bit of a song, so once again, I invite you all to listen in. Extra harmony from all of our dolphin stars. We've now made it to the 5th and final characteristic we share as mammals, and that's that we are all warm-blooded. This means we're able to maintain a constant body temperature despite our surrounding environment. Dolphins actually have a very similar core body temperature to our own, somewhere in the mid to upper 90s. They're able to maintain this body temperature through a thick layer of blubber just underneath their skin. In those colder winter months, they'll eat more food to thicken up that blubber layer so they can stay nice and warm in those colder winter waters. Now, to this point in our presentation, I'd like to answer a common asked question we get almost every day here at the Gulfarium, and that is, just how do you train all the amazing behaviors you see throughout today's presentation? Well, the answer is offering conditioning, which means learning from your consequences. So we put a big focus on positive reinforcement. So we'll reinforce behaviors that are correct, and we'll simply take a small pause for just a few seconds if an animal were to be incorrect or choose not to do behavior at all. But all those complex behaviors you see throughout our presentation all started with a smaller approximation or baby step. So one of the very first approximations our dolphins learn from young age is known as a target. This is when they touch that rostrum to the flat open palm of a trainer's hand. It is with this target behavior we can begin shaping more complex behaviors by asking the dolphins to follow it around. For example, if we move that target up and down, we get our favorite answer of yes. We can also wants to move it side to side for a big no way, or you can even spin around in a circle for a dolphin-style hula dance. Now we're actually going to show you guys some of this training process in action by breaking down a behavior known as a slide with Zeke. Now Zeke actually learned this behavior in its final form, but what happened is that he actually started confusing it with another behavior called a dorsal speed swim. And that is perfectly okay. Sometimes that happens just like us. Sometimes we forget, or sometimes we mix things up. So we're just giving Zeke some refreshers. So what the slide that we're asking for looks like is he'll pop up in 4 different positions around the habitat. You'll see a couple of our trainers are positioned in those spots that we'd like him to pop up out of the water. And right now we're focusing on his second position. So he's actually going to have that hand signal where he normally would pop up for the first one. And you'll see Jeff utilizing a training tool known as a target pull that looks a lot like our target hand. Now we can utilize it to reach higher heights and farther distances within our habitat. So you see him tap the water or present that target pull to let Zeke know this is where he'd like you to pop up and do that slide behavior. So as you saw, he popped up and did that slide across the surface, which is exactly what we're looking for. So you heard Jeff blow that whistle. Now that's what communicates to our dolphins. You're correct. You can stop what you're doing and come back to your trainer for some type of reinforcement. So there goes that hand signal again. We're going to see if he can actually do it with a little bit less help. And he did exactly what we're looking for, so you can give him a big round of applause. It looks like we're going to go ahead and leave it there. We always do try to end on some kind of success, so hopefully next time we work on that behavior, the animal remembers what got them all that fun reinforcement last time. And reinforcement, yes, can be their food, but it also comes in the form of toys, back rubs, or even some ice and unflavored sugars gelatin. Now, as I said, these behaviors are pretty complex. In fact, some of the behaviors we train here can take months to even over a year to fully train. So I definitely invite you guys to come back in the future to see just how far along Zeke has come with that slide behavior. But now I'd like to switch gears a bit and dive into some of the adaptations that make dolphins so well suited for their aquatic world. And mainly I am talking about all of those different fins and flippers. That was a wonderful demonstration from Chopper, however it was a pretty quick look. So we're going to go over all 5 of those fins and flippers into a little bit more detail, starting with the one on their back. This is known as their dorsal fin, and it acts much like a keel on a boat, helping to stabilize the dolphins as they move through the water. Now these dorsal fins do not have any bones in them, but instead are made completely out of dense connective tissue, similar to the cartilage in our ears and nose. Something interesting about these dorsal fins is that they're completely unique to each individual dolphin. So no 2 dolphins have the same dorsal fin, just like no 2 humans have the same fingerprint. So next time you guys are downstairs looking through our underwater viewing windows, I challenge you to see if you can tell our dolphins apart by just those dorsal fins alone. Next, we're going to go down to the sides of the dolphin's bodies to those pectoral flippers. This time I did say flippers instead of fins, and that's because these do have bones in them. In fact, if you were taking an X-ray of one of these flippers, you would see 5 bony digits, just like the ones in our own human hands and feet. And not only are these flippers great for giving our trainers some high fives and handshakes, or even all of you way below, they're also make dolphins so well known for all those lightning quick stops and sudden turns. Lastly, we're going to go all the way down to the ends of the dolphins to those tailed flukes. And I say flukes plural because there are 2 of them connected in the middle by what is known as the median notch. These tail flukes are connected to the dolphin's powerhouse, a region known as the peduncle. It is full of very strong muscles that allow dolphins to do a variety of different things, including a common hunting technique known as a tail off. This is where the dolphins smack the surface of the water so hard with those tail flukes that it stuns any surrounding prey, so all the dolphins have to do is gobble it right up. But it is also with the power of that peduncle that dolphins can reach burst speeds of over 20 miles an hour, as well as get their whole bodies up and out of the water to get a better look at all their surroundings. Well, earlier in our presentation, we talked a little bit about how we train train our dolphins, but now I'd like to talk a little bit more about why we train our dolphins. And the most important reason why we train all our animals here at the Gulfarium is for their overall health and well-being through what is known as husbandry behaviors. So every morning you actually come down here on the dock and do a basic physical exam on our dolphins. We're actually showing you some of the behaviors that go into this exam. However, I can't do this all by myself, so everyone please give a very warm welcome to our Dolphin Star Everson. Alright, Everson, you're going to be our honorary veterinarian today. You're going to walk right over here. I'm going to put this blue mat down for you. You're going to kneel down next to Aurea and your new patient, Chopper. So one of the first behaviors we ask for during this exam is what is known as a layout. This allows us to check our dolphin's head to tail and look for any unusual markings that weren't there the night before. On occasion, we will find small parallel lines on their skin known as rake marks. This is a result of normal dolphin behavior since they interact with both their environment and each other with their mouth and teeth, since they don't have hands like you and I do. Now that does leave a lot of people wondering, well, what does a dolphin feel like? Well, Everson, you're getting a great chance to touch Chopper there today. Do you have any descriptions for our audience of what it feels like? Rubber, that's an excellent description. Dolphins are commonly described as feeling soft, smooth, or even like rubber. That's because they exfoliate their skin every 2 to 3 hours in a process known as fluffing. This helps to keep them nice and streamlined while moving through the water. Alright, this next part of our exam switches up the job description just a little bit. We become our dolphin's dentist. So you're going to ask them to open up their mouth so you can check out their gums, their tongue, and all of those pointed teeth. Now it's probably too hard for you guys to count from up there, but Everson's getting a really good look inside Chopper's mouth. Do you have any guesses as to how many teeth he has, Everson? No, yeah, there's a little too many to count. In fact, Atlantic bottlenose dolphins have anywhere between 72 and 104 cone-shaped teeth, and only have one set for their entire lives. But the funny thing is, even with all those teeth, they're not used for chewing at all. They're simply used for grasping onto those slippery fish before swallowing them whole. Alright, this last part of our exam may not look that exciting, but I promise you it's one of the most important behaviors we can train our dolphins. And that's because it is what they would present. We can get a voluntary blood sample. We can then send that sample out to a lab and get it analyzed to make sure our dolphins are staying just as healthy on the inside as they appear to us on the outside. Well, of course, we won't be taking blood every time we ask for this behavior. It's so important for our boys to practice remaining nice and calm in this position for when the time comes that someone they don't see or day, such as one of our veterinarians, comes down to the dock and touches their tail. Alright, Everson, it looks like Chopper's doing wonderful for you today. Do you agree? Yeah, what do you think we could give him to show him he's doing so great? A fish? I think that's a good idea. Lorea's going to hand you a fish. But before you give it to Chopper, I'm confident since you're an expert today, you can tell everyone out there in the audience what kind of fish that is. Not sure? That's okay, it is your first day on the job, so we'll help you out. If you look real close, you'll see that that is what we call a dead fish. But it happens to be Chopper's favorite kind, so you can toss it right to him. Excellent! Well, unfortunately, Everson, your hand is a little bit fishy, but don't worry, we have a trainer trick for getting rid of that smell. So you're going to repeat after us. You're going to put your hands together. You're going to rub them really fast. That loosens up the scales. Wave them high in the air to air them out. And then just wipe them on your shorts. Perfect! You can tell your family that smell comes out in 2 to 3 weeks. Everyone, let's give it up one more time for our Dolphin Star Everson and his new friend, Chopper. Before we move on to our grand finale, hopefully by now it is clear that our animals' overall health and well-being is our #1 priority here at the Gulfarium. However, we're not only concerned with our resident animals, but for their ocean counterparts as well. Atlantic bottlenose dolphins are not currently listed as endangered, but they still do face negative impacts on humans. Many people do not realize that it is actually illegal to approach any marine mammal out in their native waterways. This includes whales, dolphins, seals, sea lions, and even manatees. This is due to the Marine Mammal Protection Act of 1972, which does state that it is illegal to approach any of these marine mammals within 50 yards. This will include attempts at touching them, feeding them, swimming with them, taking up close pictures, or even following them, and things like boats, kayaks, and jet skis. This is for your and their safety. Approaching these marine mammals out in those waterways makes them more susceptible to things such as propeller strikes, the ingestion of foreign objects, entanglement in fishing gear, separation of mom and calf pairs, and unfortunately even the intentional harm from humans, all of which would be deadly to marine mammals. So of course we want you to go out there and enjoy our amazing wildlife. Is that we all be heroes and do it from a safe and respectful distance. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for our four Dolphin stars. They did amazing today. Thank you so much again for coming out today on behalf of myself, our trainers, and of course our four Dolphin stars, Sebastian, Cosmo, Zeke, and Topper. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your day here at Gulfarium Marine Adventure Park.